Alright guys, Neil from Neil Collins Recording. So today I've got a really quick one for you. I'm going to be looking at Tascam DR10L. A lot of you will recognise this. Do a quick review on it, and I'm going to run through all the functions and the settings that I use, so you're good to go. So let's get into the video. Alright guys, Neil from Neil Collins Recording. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel. If you're not, at the moment I'm releasing videos twice a week, gear tech tutorials, reviews, all that sort of thing. I'm trying to build a bit of a community here, so if you do like the video, if you can like, subscribe and hit the bell, I'd really appreciate it. Also leave me a comment below. I always like to read your comments. It helps me grow the channel, helps me get to know you guys. Anyway, let's get into the video. So, Tascam DR10L comes in black or white. I got a couple of black ones and a white one. I started making the white one primarily so you could mic up brides without the microphone showing up too much against the dress. It's got a nice white lav with it, so that's nice. First off, I just love these. They're really simple to use. They're not wireless. They record straight onto the unit, so you haven't got to worry about a wireless connection, which is nice. No interference. You just set them to record. Once the record button is set, it's really hard to turn off, so no one's going to be turning that off in their pocket. You know, just put it on the groom, efficient, bride, stick it in a pocket, or with a bride you can get thigh mounts. I've got 3 of them. The audio quality is great. You can actually swap the lav mic out and put a different one on if you've got one that you prefer to use, so that's good. I haven't got any problems with this. In terms of audio for weddings, this is more than good enough. Decent audio for your wedding videos, really simple to use. So I'm just going to run through all the functions quickly just so we can get to know it. Okay, so in terms of memory card, I use the SanDisk Ultra 16GB. I know a lot of people use a 32GB, but I've never recorded that much audio in one day, to be honest. 16GB is more than enough to get the ceremony and speeches or toasts, in my opinion, so I use the 16GB one. I try to keep my cards as small as I can, to be honest. This just slots in the side here, really simple. Bang, push it in, close it up, switch it on, and we're good to go. Now we have the Tascam on. You're going to want to hit the menu button on the left hand side. So that'll take you to the first setting on the menu, the mic gain. If you go into that setting, it will give you 5 different options: low, medium, high, and high plus. 5 different mic levels that you can select. If you know whoever's using the mic is going to be loud or quiet, then you can select this accordingly. But I'm going to show you an option later on that I use, which is auto level, which makes this redundant, but just showing you that this option is there should you need it. So we go back to the menu. If we go to number 2, low cut. So if you go into low cut, I would leave low cut on. Low cut basically filters out any of the low end rumble or noise. There's no need to have that in your audio, so I would leave it on. I can't really think of a reason that you would have it off, so I would leave that on every time. Okay, so we go back to the menu. Okay, so the next one is the limiter. So if we go into the limiter, enter. Again, I would leave this on. The limiter will make sure that your audio doesn't clip, so it gets to a certain level and it'll limit it from going any further. So it's always good to have that as a fail-safe. With the auto level function, that shouldn't happen anyway, but if it does, then it's good to have this limiter on so that you don't get any clipped audio. So I would leave that on. Go back to the menu. Okay, so now we get to auto level, which is what I've been talking about. So if we go into the auto level, I'll switch it to on. And all that does, whoever's speaking or whatever you're recording, it will determine what level that should be, and it will keep it at that level without you having to choose one of the options in the first item on the menu. Okay, so I'd leave that on. It does a really good job. I have never had any problems with it, so I'd recommend leaving that on for now. So if you go back to menu, FS sample, the audio sample rate, I would have this at 48 kilohertz because that's what most video cameras record the audio at. So if you're going to sync the audio up in post, it should be fine with 44.1 as well, but just to be on the safe side, put it on 48. There won't be any lag in the audio compared to the video. Okay, go back to the menu. Okay, bit length. Let's go in. So if you've got the option between 16-bit audio and 24-bit audio, then it's a no-brainer really. Just choose the 24-bit audio. It's always good to have the best audio quality you can. Go back to the menu. Okay, the next option is the file type. I would always leave it on mono for speeches. That's what I use every time. I go back to menu. Okay, so dual record. This is a really nice little feature. What this does, although you've got the auto level set and the limiter on, you shouldn't have any problems with the audio anyway. But if for some reason you have a super loud priest or an officiant, you know, some of them are quite loud, especially if it's in a boomy church. If for some reason your main audio clip does clip, if you have either -6 dB or -12 dB, the two options, it will record a duplicate audio file, but either 6 dB or 12 dB lower. So even if your main audio clips, you can always use the other audio that you've recorded in either -6 or -12 dB. I've used that a few times. Like I say, priests and churches sometimes are a bit loud. In that respect, this is a great function. I usually just leave it on -6, but you do have the -12 option as well. Okay, we go to the menu. MP3 mode, go into that. Leave it off. It records a really high quality WAV, so I don't know why you'd want to use any of the MP3 options, but they are there if you want to use them, 128 or 192. Okay, track increments. So leave this on, and what this does is it will record 15-minute increments of audio. Why that's good is, and it has happened to me before, it's probably happened to a lot of you, especially those of you that film weddings. If your battery runs out or something gets unplugged for some reason, memory card comes out, if you drop the box and it all just explodes, you'll only lose the last audio file it was recording. So if it's in the middle of the ceremony, I mean, it's still not ideal, but you'll only lose the audio that you're currently recording. The audio that was recorded previously will have saved automatically. So it saves it every 15 minutes, it will save a file. Then it will do another 15 minutes, save a file. So leave that on. You're going to have loads of little smaller files, but if you wanted to, you could turn it off and just have one long file. So that option is there. Okay, so if we go back to the menu, next one on the menu is warn beeps. Now this one's kind of pointless really. It's very rare you're going to be monitoring the audio from a DR10L. The whole point of a DR10L is you just chuck it on a groom or an officiant, stick the box in their pocket and leave it to record. You ain't going to be monitoring that. But if you were, for some reason, had a really stupidly long headphone cable that you were monitoring the DR10L, then if your battery's getting low or the memory card's getting full, then it will beep in your ear. But like I say, pretty pointless function to have really, because you're never really going to be monitoring the audio. So go back to the menu. That's warm beeps. Power save, leave that on. I think it's after 10 minutes it'll just switch itself off. Saves your battery just in case you wanted to use it later and forgot to turn it off. So have that on. Okay, we'll go back to the menu. Name type. So when it records the files, whatever you choose, word or date, is how your files will be ordered. So if you do it by word, it'll order it lav 1, lav 2, lav 3, lav 4. If you have the date, it will just do the date and time in chronological order. Okay, I just leave it on date, to be honest. Okay, that's name type. File name. So then this relates to the last one. And this is where you would name your file. So then it will record files and they'll all be called lav 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Number 15 is where you format the SD, and to do that you just press enter. It'll ask you if you're sure, you go to yes, press enter, and it will format the SD card. Okay, 16, mic bias. So if we go into mic bias is, if you're going to use the microphone that comes with the DR10L, then you're going to want to leave that on because it will supply power to the microphone. If you have a powered microphone that you're using with the DR10L and not the stock microphone, then you will want to switch this to off, because then you're using the power from the microphone itself and not the Tascam. I would leave it on to be safe. Most of the time you're going to be using the microphone that comes with it, or the microphone that you're going to be using probably will need power anyway, so But that is where you change that if you need to in the mic bias. Okay. Battery type. So if we go into this, and this is where you'll choose the battery type that you are using. Depending on which one you choose, it will work out how long you've got left on that battery. So if you select the wrong type of battery here, then your battery indicator may be slightly off. You might think you've got more battery left than you actually have because you've selected the wrong type of battery in this section. So make sure you put the right battery in. Okay, the next one, date and time, pretty self-explanatory. This is where you change the date and time. Back to the menu. System init, that's basically your reset button for the DR10L. Don't use it unless you really have to, but if you wanted to reset all the factory settings to what they started at, basically discounting everything we've gone through here and just going back to what it was before, you'd go to yes and it would reset all the settings and you can start from scratch. So that function's there if you need it. And number 20 is just the version info. So if you click on enter, it will tell you which version of the firmware you're using with the Tascam DR10L. Okay, so that's all the options there. And that, my friends, is all the options on the DR10L. So if you haven't got a DR10L and you're thinking about getting one, I would definitely get one and highly recommend it. Really reasonably priced, links below along with the memory cards that I use. You can get them in black or white. I've got a couple of black ones and a white one. You can never have too many of these. I just think they're great. You can use them for interviews. Never once set it to record and it not record, or it clip, or something be wrong with the recording. It's always recorded really nice, crisp, clean audio. So I just can't really fault them. The price point is pretty good. Yeah, I'd recommend anyone get at least 2 or 3 of these. You can use them in the speeches or toasts, you call them in America, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment below. I believe in America speeches are toasts. Obviously they're going to be using their microphone, but I always mic up each speaker with one of these as well. So if the microphone audio fails for some reason, I've always got a backup. The audio from the microphone is probably going to be better because it's straight into the microphone, but having these as backups is great. When a DJ's got a rubbish wireless mic and it keeps cutting in and out, you're thinking, cheers mate. But if you've got this recording, you don't need to worry about it. You know you're going to get some decent audio regardless. Anyway, this is kind of the first wedding video tutorial I've done, even though I primarily shoot weddings. It wasn't intentional, but if a lot of you are wedding videographers, then hopefully you'll find some of these videos helpful. I'll be doing more down the line, so please do like, subscribe and hit the bell. Please do leave a comment below. Let's start a conversation. It's always nice to chat to you guys, makes it a bit more of a community. Tell me your thoughts on the DR10L. You might hate it, I don't know. I love it, you might hate it, but tell me why. Tell me what you use, tell me if you think there's a better option out there. And just in general, it'd be great to get some feedback from you guys. So, that being said, I'm releasing videos twice a week, so please do like, subscribe, hit the bell so I can notify you of the next one, and I'll catch you in the next one.